In what is not exactly a surprising development, a CBS News expose has detailed a decades long trend of police officers illegally selling, in some cases, military grade firearms for personal profit. Shocker. Now, the report found at least 50 cases of sheriffs, lieutenants, chiefs of police, and police captains across the country have been involved in gun sales, illegal gun sales, over the past 20 years. The weapons sold are usually sold at markups of sometimes up to 90% and involve things like Gatling guns, machine guns, which sometimes, unsurprisingly, end up in the hands of violent criminals, who then, unsurprisingly, turn around and use those guns to commit murder and other violent crimes. According to the report, nearly 26,000 guns used to commit crimes in the United States between 2017 and 2021 alone originally belonged to either the U.S. military, law enforcement, or another government agency, like, I don't know, Border Patrol. So, now that said, we don't know how many of those weapons may have been lost or stolen versus sold to criminals, right? But according to government auditors who investigated the missing firearms over a 15-year period, found that more than 2/3 of those missing weapons had been illegally sold or traded. So, I would bet there's a vast majority of those guns that, were sold by police. Mm. Now, do you remember when Republicans were raging about Fast and Furious? Ah, Obama been selling guns to the Mexican drug cartel. He been giving the guns to him. That's right. Well, hold on. For one, actually, this started back in 2006, before, before he did anything, right? Before he was president. And so he didn't do this, okay? But anyway, the whole outrage, the whole freak out was blown up in such a way where, like, oh my God, Obama selling guns to Mexican cartels. No, it wasn't Obama selling guns. This was a federal program that was actually pitched as a way to try to track down leaders of the Mexican cartels so that they could be arrested by U.S. forces. So the problem is that it was a dumb idea, okay, where they would get straw purchasers to go in or allow these illegal straw purchases to happen from, like, federally licensed gun dealers in, like, Arizona, okay, where they would, like, stick these trackers on guns, like GPS trackers, right? Now the problem is those the batteries on those trackers only lasted for like a couple of days, okay, before they ran out and then couldn't be tracked anymore. And that's if the signal wasn't lost by, these guns ending up in somebody's trunk. So the technology there, it just wasn't there. And so this program fell flat and actually ended up giving guns to Mexican drug cartels. So congratulations. Okay. And by the way, it also enriched firearms dealers. Okay. Congratulations. Complete epic disaster. That said, this is not that. This is way worse. Okay. Because, instead of, I understand the whole point of, like, the Operation Gun Runner, I believe that's what it was called originally, before Republicans started calling it Fast and Furious because of a gun club, or I'm sorry, a car club, that one of the dealers, one of the officers, I think, was involved with, or agents. But anyway, that whole plan was to try to arrest the criminals. Okay, this is like, no, the cops, we are the criminals, and we're going to sell the criminals for personal profit. That's it. They can pocket the cash, and that's what it was about. One example in the report is Adar, Iowa's former police chief Bradley Wendt, okay, who sold a bunch of weapons. A jury convicted Wendt earlier this year of conspiracy to defraud the United States, lying to federal law enforcement, and illegal possession of a machine gun. I believe that was the aforementioned Gatling gun. Wendt told CBS News just days before a federal judge sentenced him to a 5-year prison term, quote, "If I'm guilty of this, every cop in the nation's going to jail." That is a damning quote. And that shows that we've got a real problem. Where is the congressional investigation stuff? My guess, it's not going to happen. At least not under Republicans. Okay. Although Democratic politicians and the public have stupidly bought the idea that, oh, we've got so much crime, so we need more police. We can't do any police reform whatsoever. We can't even question the police anymore. And now we find out that, oops. Oh, you know who's supplying the cartels with guns? Turns out it's us, our cops. Wow. Oh, and by the way, it's not just the cartels. Okay. No. Other police were busted selling high-powered rifles to sanctioned Russian arms dealers. Yeah. So, you know, that whole thing happened. But how exactly does this happen? Well, unsurprisingly, it's because there's very little oversight on either the weapons law enforcement has provided or those it accesses through its investigations. You know, sometimes cops can just come in and, you know, if there's like a bust of criminals or people with, you know, machine guns, whatever, then just go take those guns and then they can disappear. They end up going home with some of these cops who can then sell them to like people who are collectors or what often seems to happen, criminals. Yeah. So that's what happens. All right. In fact, a 2008 audit by the Government Accountability Office found that $100 million worth of guns and ammo purchased by ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, having to be unaccounted for. Where'd it go? $100 million in guns and bullets. Gone. What happened to them? They vanished into thin air? They went somewhere. Are we surprised? Shouldn't be. Remember, you have the Pentagon, who they're just laughing at those rookie numbers. They're like, no, those are rookie numbers. You need to pump those up. Okay. You know what happened? We just failed our 7th straight audit. Well, billions of dollars worth of guns, weapons, bombs, whatever. Can't account for it. We just failed another audit. But hey, keep giving us cash. And you know what? Republicans, Democrats in Congress, they're going to still keep giving the military, the Pentagon, more money. And yes, you're going to have local, you know, state budget offices like the NYPD, for example. They're going to keep getting billions of dollars. Because, well, we got to stop the crime. You're the source of a lot of this crime, apparently. Or your guns, at least. All told, in this investigation, CBS News identified 58 cases where officers were charged with illegally selling guns. 56 of them were either convicted or had admitted their guilt. And that, unfortunately, is only a fraction. Why? Well, it turns out prosecutors have been generally reluctant to charge these cases. Really? Oh, so the cops just won't go after other cops. Great. The Bureau stated, quote, "It is our goal to educate." It's the ATF. "It's our goal to educate, not investigate," according to a 2017 law enforcement memo obtained by CBS News. Hey, no, we're educating, not investigating. Oh, and you wonder why cops are most part able to get away with this. Eric Harden, a former special agent in charge of the ATF's LA Field Division, said, quote, "We're not looking to prosecute fellow law enforcement officers." And there it is. Apparently, if you want to be a criminal, become a cop. Thin blue line, everybody. It's basically just cops protecting other cops in every single way possible, even going so far as to, if they find out that you're literally supplying weapons to Mexican drug cartels. They'll be like, oh, hey, whoa, we found out what you're doing. You might want to just stop it from now on. Put bygones be bygones. I mean, just go ahead and keep your, ill-gotten gains. We're not going to take that from you. Keep your car, keep your house, your condo, whatever. Just stop doing it from now on, okay? Just say, I've learned my lesson, and everything's going to be fine. Everything will be good. Hardin told CBS News, if you think I'm exaggerating, no, I wish I was. Hardin told CBS News that if officers had persisted after being warned, i.e. they kept doing it, or if their weapons were traced to a crime, then they should be held accountable. Quote, if we don't do this, then it'll be turning a blind eye and saying officers are above the law. Well, I don't know. It kind of sounds like to me that they are. I mean, if you know that they're doing a crime and you're like, just please stop that and we'll forget about this ever happened, then yeah, you are above the law. I mean, they're doing illegal arms trafficking. What could be worse? Well, here's the other thing. It does get worse. You see, a lot of the arms that were sold are machine guns, military-grade weaponry. Very, very dangerous, okay? How did they get them? I mean, they're supposed to be regulated by the ATF, right? Well, it turns out the ATF has been rubber stamping requests for machine guns for decades. Meaning that if a police station or a, whatever, right, a precinct wants machine guns and doesn't give a reason, they're just like, we want very heavy arms for this. In the case of Adair, Iowa, a couple hundred people that live there, I think at most. Doesn't matter. Hey, we need a few hundred machine guns, for our little town. Well, okay, coming right up. Go ahead. What? Now, former supervisory special agent Tim Graydon, who worked at the ATF for more than 2 decades before retiring back in 2022, said this, quote, there's no audits. None. There's no second guessing whatsoever. They weren't really, I don't want to use the word concerned, but I can't think of a better one. They weren't concerned. No accountability whatsoever. Oh, you need some machine guns? Go ahead. Have at it. We're gonna take weapons that were used in war, literal weapons of war, and we're just gonna give them to you. Have at it. Have fun. And then, of course, these cops get it, and they're like, how can I personally cash in? Oh, I know. I'll sell it to these collectors. This guy seems a little sketchy, a little shady. But man, he's offering me 90% more than I asked for. Instead of having that be like a red flag and be like, whoa, dude, that sounds like you want to do something illegal with this weapon. They're like, I don't care if you're going to do something illegal. Not my problem. Once it's out of my hands, once I got my money and you got your gun, you can do whatever you want. Don't care. Wow. That's what's going on. According to interviews with half a dozen longtime ATF officials who work directly on these cases, the Bureau does not typically assess the appropriateness of the weapons for a department or track where they end up. Because of course they don't. Of course they don't. Look, here's the final thing. If you believe that, hey, these prosecutions, they got 52 cases. Wow. That got the people got put in prison. They got punished, right? You think that's going to put a stop to it? No. Because it's about to get worse. Trump's coming back into office, okay? And during his first administration, Trump had revoked an Obama-era executive order restricting the transfer of military equipment from the Defense Department to law enforcement nationwide. I mean, what do you think Donald Trump needs for his deportation force? Weapons. So that means more weapons into the hands of the police, and from the hands of the police, who knows where it's going to go. Joe Biden, as far as I know, never put that executive order back. And look, even if he did, Trump's going to be able to revoke it again. That means more guns for the police for whatever reason. Whatever reason. It doesn't matter. Those guns then go to the police, as I mentioned, which will likely end up coming from the police, being sold to criminals for personal profit. So, yeah, it's going to get real nice and bleak out there over the next 4 years. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.